Good afternoon, and welcome to the Office of Native American Programs at HUD. Our webcast today is on the mold NOFA, the mold prevention and mold remediation and prevention NOFA that was posted last month, a few weeks ago, and we will be having one of our typical webcasts today. It will run until about 5 o'clock. If we can finish it sooner, we will. If I get hoarse throughout the session, I will take a break of 5 to 10 minutes. We'll just see how that goes, and we will not be taking questions today. I'm sorry for that, but we just have so much information to cover, and it's just me today. But we will take questions by email, and those emails can be sent to me, Roberta L. Youmans at HUD.gov. I think my name is also, yes, it is also on the download when you go to get the ICDBG application on grants.gov, so you will see my name and email address there. We will probably, within the next few weeks, also post a set of Q&As, frequently asked questions. We've received some already. I imagine we'll receive some after this webcast. And again, I thank you all for participating today, and hopefully I'll be able to impart a little bit of wisdom here and help you submit good applications this year. So what's new this year? This year, this NOFA is just for mold remediation and prevention. Last year, those of you that looked at applying or did apply know that we had two categories of funding last year, Category 1 and 2. This year, what we're going to do is we're going to have two NOFAs, this one now, and then we'll have another NOFA for the regular ICDBG program. I wish I could give you the exact day it'll be posted, but I can't, but within the next month or two. This year, and in this NOFA, we have $12.4 million available in total. That's not for each of you, darn it. That is in total. And we've increased the application ceiling. The application ceiling last year for each of your applications was $400,000. This year it is $800,000. I think many of you will be pleased with that. And last year, for mold applications, we didn't have this points if you didn't get funded in the last few years. That was something new last year, but we are going to have that in, we do have that in the mold NOFA this year. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. So what else is new? We've expanded the definition of eligible housing to address, in part, tribes in Alaska, but also other parts of the country. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. Now we're saying that you must affirmatively state that your tribe or TDHE has adopted a housing code. Before it just basically said you had to have one. Now we are specifically saying that you must state it in order to be reviewed. And last year we just had bonus points for promise zones. This year we are adding bonus points also for sustainability communities. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Again, this is a national competition. You all are competing against each other nationwide. All the tribes in the nation will compete for this pot of money. Unlike the regular NOFA, ICDBG NOFA, where you compete against only the tribes in your region. So that's a little bit different. It's the same compared to what we did with mold last year. Again, the same applications can apply, tribes or tribal organizations that meet the criteria in the regulation and the NOFA. We still have 5 rating factors. They're essentially the same. We also are going to permit waivers of electronic applications, and we've specifically spelled out how that can be. However, this year you're going to request the waiver of the electronic application to headquarters rather than the area ONAP, and we'll talk about that later also. And hopefully I didn't skip over anything. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about usually what we talk about. I've added a few things and took a few things out, but we're going to talk about who's eligible, what you can use the money for, mold remediation and prevention, and what some of the requirements are. We're going to talk a little bit more than maybe in the past about how to submit the applications, because if you are submitting applications through grants.gov, we want to make sure that you do that right so that that is not the reason you're not funded. We'll talk a little bit about screening and the rating factors. Again, the total is, you see on the screen, some of the money is from last year, 2014, and then there's $6 million new dollars for 15. We did not spend all the money the first year. We funded 9 grantees the first year, so we're rolling the money into this NOFA, and hopefully we'll have more grantees. We are also giving you all about 60 days to submit the applications. I know one of the concerns we had last time was that there wasn't enough time. 60 days may still not be enough time in some people's minds, but in order to get the funds spent before they're recaptured, we needed to set it at about 60 days. Again, this is not changed. This is the statute that we're using to fund this program. The regulations are there. They have not changed. Both the statute and the regulations can be found on our website, the ONAP website. I think even though you all know that you're going to use it for mold remediation and prevention, it's still good to look at those regulations, I think in particular, not the statute, just to see that exactly the kind of housing you're doing and what you want to propose is eligible. For this program, low and moderate income, the people that benefit from this program have to be below 80% of the median. Now, that's not the same thing as the IHBG regulations, which is 80% of the higher of the national or the area median income. For ICDBG, it's the area median. So remember that when you're thinking about who you're going to serve. We'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about how to figure out what the income is in your area also. This is the definition in the NOFA. I'm not sure it's the perfect definition, but we did work with EPA and HUD's Office of Healthy Homes and Indian Health Service on some of the aspects of this NOFA, so hopefully we've got it close. It's visible growth of fungi, I don't know, sorry. Remediation includes long-term solutions. We really want to make sure that what you propose is going to solve the problem. We're not talking about cleaning up some mold around a windowsill. We really want to see that what you propose and what you're going to spend the money on will really solve the problem for current residents and future residents. And then we're also interested in what you're going to do to prevent it from coming back. Tribally owned or operated housing. Basically, again, we've expanded it, the definition. So any kind of applicants that own housing, any applicants eligible under ICDBG that own or operate housing can get assisted through this NOFA. And last year we had, the language just said, or house, well, I'll tell you what it said. It said housing that was currently owned or operated by a tribe or a TDHE or was previously assisted with HUD funding. So now we're saying it's assisted now or was once. So we've really, really broadened it. So if that doesn't cover who you want to serve, ask your area ONAP and or ask me, and we'll help to clarify. But I think we've covered the pretty good universe there. Again, we might have left somebody out, but there might have been a reason. New applicant, this is a term that we've had in our NOFA for a long time. It's an applicant that has never had an ICDBG, which there are some, or whose grants have been closed. All grants have been closed for more than 12 months prior to the deadline date, which is, in this case, June 22nd. So, and the reason that definition is key, it's the points for when we rate your application differ based on new or current application. In 2015, like in 14, there's several options for measuring who is going to be served. I know that this was a little bit complicated for staff as well as some of the applicants. The information that was provided to you all on the HUD user website in 14 is still the same. We checked with the policy and development research economists today or earlier this week, and the data that is up there is still current for this year's NOFA. There are several options that you can use to determine who you're going to serve. There's an option that is probably the one that most applicants are going to use, and that looks at low and moderate data from the ACS, American Community Survey. And it measures all people in the tribal areas. And within that, It looks at households that are AIAN alone in combination with another race. There's a lot of options, and I'm going to hold this up, so I don't know if the slide can show. I printed out option 1. I think option 1 is probably the option that's easier to use when you go in and look at that data. But it's certainly up to you, because there is also another option that looks at, I think I'm maybe getting ahead of myself, that looks at the neighborhood level options. And that is maybe for areas that aren't as designated broader reservations and is based on county population. And I'm generalizing here a little bit because it's hard to see. I don't have a screenshot. But there's an option there. There's a lot of data there. And then there's, you can also use CDBG data, which may or may not apply to some of the smaller regions. The website is on the page. Again, that checked it this morning, checked it a few minutes before I came down today. That is still current, that is still workable. So I urge you to look at that and look to see which one you want to use. If we are going to rate your application on the data that is most beneficial to your community. So we'll look at it, but you should look at it too. You also have the option in your application of proposing another set of income criteria. And this is something that I think in recent years applicants had been using, because the data we had been providing you and was available was quite old. So we had 2000 census, and then we had some from 10, but it wasn't updated. So if you decide that none of the information on that HUD user website is going to fit for you or work for you or undercounts, you can submit your own data. This is something you've always been able to do with ICDBG. You can do it for this mold NOFA. You have to submit all the criteria that the NOFA asks for and the regulations discuss too. You can't just hand us a piece of paper and say that, you know, this is how many people we have. We need to have data collected systematically. It's got to be able to be verified independently. If there's reservation BIA service area populations that differ, and we need to show who's going to benefit, a sample of the survey form, how you collected the data. Did you do it by phone? Did you do it by knocking on doors? And we want to know the household size and the incomes per household size. A lot of people don't get reviewed because they haven't submitted this information. I really hope that people look at the data that we're providing for you to choose from. If you decide to do this kind of survey yourselves, please make sure that you either make sure that you submit all the information that we ask for, because if you submit 3 of the 4 things, we need the 4th thing. There is a program, not a program guidance, that's what we at ONAP do. There is a public and Indian housing, a CPD notice that was just issued in September of 2014. The notice number is CPD 14-013. And it is called Guidelines for Conducting Income Surveys to Determine the Percentage of Low and Moderate Income Persons in the Service Area of a Community Development Block Grant, a funded activity. So even though it was prepared by the staff in the regular CDBG program, it is full of a lot of good information about how to do interviews and how to do the data. So you can find that information on the HUD user, on the HUD website by going to what's called HUD user. So if you just go to the HUD website, I don't have the link there, I'm sorry, but if you go to the HUD, www.hud.gov, and just go to HUD user, or look for HUD user, you'll find CPD notices, and you'll be able to find that. If you can't find it, we can get it for you. But that should help if you decide to do your own surveys. Again, I think people will do fewer of them this year, but I don't know. So the grant ceiling. I want to just check my notes here. Sorry, I went ahead. The grant ceilings, as I mentioned earlier, went up. I think people will be pleased with that. Could it have been more? I don't know. We wanted to make the money, get as many grants to as many tribes as we could. It will be one of the screening factors. If you ask for more than 800,000, we won't even review the application. I know that sounds strict, but that's kind of how we have to do it, as that says right there. And as I mentioned, it was 400,000 earlier, so last year. So that's, I think, a good thing. Let's see where we are. Housing rehab cost limits. What we decided to do was to keep the housing rehab cost, because we're considering mold remediation and prevention, essentially housing rehab. We've decided to keep the housing rehab cost limits that we've had. We did this in 2014 for the mold grants, and we're doing it again this year in this mold NOFA. I have heard from some grantees that this level is a little too low. What this means is you could certainly spend more than, in Alaska, $75,000 on a unit to remediate the mold there, but you will only be able to use $75,000 in Alaska for that unit, and then Eastern Woodlands $35,000. So that is something I wanted to point out. That's what the NOFA says now. That's all I can say about that now, because that's what it says now. So in your budget, you should show that that's not going to be exceeded. If you get funded, you will have to comply with those regulations that I mentioned, the ICDBG regulations and the other criteria of the program, as well as a lot of other criteria that I'll talk about in a little while. So make sure you know what those are, because you don't want to be surprised all of a sudden if you haven't had a grant in a while. There are some things that have changed. Okay, so who's eligible? This essentially is the regulatory definition. Those terms are from the regulation. And I will talk a little bit about it in a little bit more detail than the slide goes on. But again, this is spelled out in the NOFA. This has been in past NOFAs. We basically rely on the BIA list, which is published, as you know, annually, usually annually. The last one, I think, was January 14th of 15. So all the tribal names are there, 566, I believe it is now. Tribal organizations can apply if they are eligible under Title I of the Indian Self-Determination and Education Act. And you have to submit a letter from BIA or the Indian Health Service. If you've submitted a letter like this before and the ONAP office has it on record, you don't have to submit it again. So I think you'll know if you have it on record. If you don't, you can ask the area ONAP, but that's essentially what that is. And in Alaska, if a tribal organization submits an application in the jurisdiction of one or more eligible tribes or villages, it has to include a concurring resolution from each tribe or village. And then in Alaska, again, this is not new, but the hierarchy for funding priority is the IRA Council, the Traditional Village Council, the ANSCA, I know I'm saying that wrong, I apologize to the Alaska folks, Village Corporation, and the Regional Corporation. So again, that has been in the NOFA for years and years. We didn't change that with this mold NOFA, but I wanted to let you know that that is still the same. Okay. What's the period of performance? I think this gets people a little bit confused. We have to, by law, by directive, put language in our NOFAs about when the funds will be recaptured. We have a long term in the period of performance in the NOFA, but we basically are going to rely on what you put in your implementation plan. We like your implementation plan to be realistic. Don't put in there that you're going to do it in a year. If you think it's going to take you 3, there's a lot of things that have to be done, but we want it to be based on reality, past experience, and we are going to look at your implementation schedule and your past implementation schedules in rating factor 1. We'll talk about that. If you don't make substantial progress towards meeting this implementation schedule that you've submitted and we've approved, we do have the authority, I don't want to say the right, that sounds kind of big brotherish, but we have the authority to recapture the funds. I mean, the funds are intended to be used for the intended purpose. Things happen, but that is in the NOFA now. It's been in there for a while, and I wanted to let you know about that. You do have to submit this implementation schedule. It's Form 4125. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And I just want to urge you to use the current form. The forms have been recently updated slightly, and they are the forms that are posted with the NOFA, and we'll talk about how that goes. A lot of people ask if there's a match in this program. No, there is not a match requirement in ICDBG like there is in some other programs. In fact, you can use ICDBG to match other programs in some cases if the uses are the same. But we do have a leveraging section, a leveraging rating factor. We'll talk about that later. So in other words, the more money you all bring to the table that you're going to use of your own money or other monies to repair the units, then we will give you points for that. And we've increased the points for that a little bit. Okay. A lot of discussions about thresholds. There are thresholds, essentially, you won't get reviewed unless you meet these thresholds. There are some of those in the general section we'll talk about. There are some in the ICDBG regulations and in our program. And then what we've done is we moved, for this NOFA, we've moved the project-specific threshold on the housing rehabilitation standards to something that's called a requirement section. Well, again, this is an overview. I'll tell you a little bit later, a little bit more about that. So what is this general section? I mean, we refer to it, it's like like the Bible. The general section is a document that governs all of HUD's programs. It is a dense document over the years. It's gotten less dense, more dense. There's a lot of information in the general section. This year it was posted quite early. It was posted in October. I don't know the exact date, but you can find it at the website link there. You can also find the general section when you download the NOFA from grants.gov. I urge people to look at it. You don't have to memorize it, but some things have changed in there. They've reorganized some things, but it's good to at least become familiar with it because sometimes we refer back to it in the ICDBG NOFA, so you should always have that close at hand. They will not be doing training on the general section as far as I know, but that's why I wanted to include some of it in here. In the general section, again, that applies to all HUD programs, ROS, public housing programs, CDBG programs. You have to submit your applications on time. If you don't submit it on time, you can't get funding. I'm sorry, that's it. Again, we'll talk about that later. I will. And then if there's been any civil rights violations, you will have had to have resolved those. It probably wouldn't apply to you all too much, but that's in there. The slide lists 4 requirements that tribes must comply with. Tribes do have to comply with certain aspects of civil rights and fair housing laws. The Americans with Disabilities Act, the Age Discrimination Act, Title IX of the Education Amendments Act. Again, they're all spelled out in the general section. You also have to comply with a 1968 provision called, we call it Section 3. I guess it's Section 3 of that actual act. And that is a requirement that says if HUD's giving money out for housing and other related purposes, the people that benefit from that housing should be afforded any jobs that are created as a result of that housing funding. Tribal communities have a little bit of an exception to that. We still have that requirement, but it only applies if the requirement is not in derogation of preferences that benefit Indians per the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act. It's in there. That's all I want to say about it right now, but it is a requirement that we must meet. The last 2 on the page are 2 requirements. We've not given too much additional guidance on that, but those are in the general section as well. There's other requirements that they're not thresholds per se, but they could prevent an award of an applicant. If you got rated and scored in a high score, you could not get funding if you have delinquent federal debts. We do a debt check right before we do the grant agreements and send the awards out. If you have any you haven't paid back now and you want to apply, better figure out how to do it now, because we don't want to not be able to give you the money for that. Sometimes we ask you to do a survey to make sure you have financial systems in order. We don't do that too much. If anybody's been suspended or debarred from doing business with the federal government, we can't fund you. If you've made false statements about anything in your application, and we find out, or in the reviews they find out, it will prevent you from being funded. So there's a few other things. We look at a do not pay website. There's a lot of things in the general section. We reference them in the NOFA. There are things to know about. You have to have a code of conduct. If your code of conduct is not listed on the HUD website, which again is listed in the NOFA, I believe, or I'll tell you about later, you have to submit it. We need to make sure that the entities we give monies to have ethical standards and codes of conduct. Again, it's a requirement of all HUD programs, not just ONAP. And then there is also a prohibition against lobbying, but it doesn't apply to too many of you, only to TDHEs that are established under state law. I know there are some, but in other words, if you see that form, you don't have to do it. You don't have to send it in unless you meet that criteria. A lot of other requirements. You have to ensure participation of small businesses. May or may not apply too much to tribes. There's a relatively new requirement coming down about equal access to HUD programs. Basically, there will be a regulation pretty soon that will apply the second bullet to tribes. It's in the works now. It basically says you're required recipients of HUD funds would have to make eligibility determinations regardless of actual or perceived sexual orientation, gender identity, or marital status. So while that is not in the exact regulation that's cited in the general section yet, it's my understanding that that will be coming down soon. So I wanted to make you all aware of that. There's been faith-based rules on the books for a long time. If you displace anybody with federal funds, you have to provide them relocation assistance. I think probably with the MOLD grants, you will not be doing permanent displacement, I hope. You'll probably be doing temporary, so you wouldn't have to be complying with all the provisions of that act, but that is a requirement for all programs. A couple of other requirements. I told you there's a lot of requirements. We don't usually talk too much about the first bullet, but that's in there. I frankly can't tell you too much about it. If we need to do an evaluation of the program, and in MOLD we probably will, you're required to participate by accepting the grant, you would. Environmental requirements, you have to comply with them. They're talked about in our ICDBG NOFA too. There are no longer OMB circulars that apply. They are all they're in OMB regulations and also in new regulations that will be coming out in HUD. That's the OMB citation there. There will also be HUD regulations on that too. So we will be providing more guidance on that once those are all finalized. A few other requirements. I don't have too many more details to give you on those, but again, I urge you to look at them. They're all spelled out in the general section, just to be on notice. If you get the money, you're going to have to comply with these things. Okay, so program-related thresholds. The regulation, 1003-301A, to be specific. Anybody who has an ICDBG obligation or who hasn't agreed to repay that obligation will be disqualified. We mentioned that before. We talked about the Civil Rights Act. If any tribe, any organization has any claim, you must have resolved that. Again, I mentioned we're changing the terminology in our ICDBG NOFA now from a threshold, even though it's still a threshold. We're now calling it a requirement. It's more of a formatting thing, but you still do have to state that you have housing rehabilitation and standards and codes, and that those codes were adopted prior to the submission of your application. We don't want them, but we want you to state that you have them. So please don't forget to state that, because that will be something that will hold up the project and probably even disqualify you. So has to be at least as stringent. It's an interesting word because in my mind the HUD Section 8 standards are not that strict, But the citation for those regulations are in the NOFA itself. The Section 8 program is a public housing program for vouchers, you know. It's not too strict, I don't think, but maybe. But so look at that and make sure that your standards meet that. And then if you're helping somebody with this mold money, the payments for that family, they have to be current in their payments or in a repayment agreement, so that we make sure that, you know, the project, well, that's just the rule. Okay, I'm going to take one swallow of water. And we're going to go to now how to apply. Okay. Some of you I know hire consultants to do the applications for you. Some of you do them yourself. I know because I've talked to a lot of you. The information about how to apply, the general section, I'd say about half of that document, which I will wave in front of you, again, cameraman. This is the general section. About half of it is about how to apply. Look at it. The ICDBG NOFA, also in section 4, talks about how to apply. And when I say how to apply, I mean for the most part how to apply electronically, because that is the preferred method of applying for government funds. HUD wants you to. We know that in some regions, some areas, some tribes, remote areas cannot do that for whatever reason, but that's where you're encouraged to do that. If you can't, talk about what to do. Again, review the general section. And we talk in the NOFA also about how to get the waiver. You write to Glenda Green, who is my supervisor, the grants management director, and her email is in the NOFA. You'll see it, and I think I mention it later in the slide. I've been spending a lot of time myself lately looking at the grants.gov website. I don't usually do it because I'm not applying myself, because individuals can't apply, but I wanted to see what you all see. And there is a lot of information. I think they've really done, I mean, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but they've done an excellent job of making available a lot of tools to help you apply electronically if you are going to have to do it yourself. If you go to www.grants.gov, you will click on applicants, and you'll see applicants' tools and tips, applicant FAQs. There's a user guide, there's a registration guide, there's videos. I didn't watch the video, but I did read the user guide. It is 109 pages. But again, don't wait until I'm going to say this probably 10 times during the webcast, and those of you that have seen my webcast know I do this. Don't read the user guide a couple days before you're applying, if you're doing the applying yourselves. Read them now. Read them while the other people are getting the other parts of the application done. Make sure you know how to submit the application, because you don't want to go through all the work of getting approvals, getting people to sign off, having meetings with the community. You want to be able to make sure your application gets in. So we've talked about the helpful hints. There's basically 5 steps. You have to register to apply electronically through grants.gov. In the old days, you just threw an application or 2 in the mail. Frankly, that was easier for us because we could just read them in the order you sent them. But now, as I mentioned, we're encouraging you, and HUD is encouraging you to apply electronically. You have to have a DUNS number, Dun & Bradstreet number. You have to register. It used to be the CCR, Central Contractor Registry. Now it's the System Award for Management. You have to register then in grants.gov with a username. You have to grant approval to somebody to submit the application, and then you can check your status, and there's a little bit different. Most applicants already have a DUNS number. Some have more than one. Make sure that you're using the one that you should apply for. Usually your financial office would know who that is. And make sure, I have had people not get through because they switched a number around. So make sure that you use the actual number. Be careful. I don't know if you're like me, I get numbers mixed up sometimes. Make sure it's the number. Carefully type it. If you don't have one, you can get one at the website that's on the screen. It is easy to get one. I didn't try to get one. but I'm told it's fast and easy. So, but most of you will have one of those. I'm looking to see if my notes match what I have here. Yeah. Okay. Assuming you have a DUNS number now. Last year, a couple of people did not make it through or had trouble getting through electronically because they forgot to renew their registration in SAM. You have to go into the system and make sure that the entity that's applying has a current SAM registration. You don't want to go through that whole thing and then, oops, forgot. There's also a way for, I think it's the e-business point of contact, that can actually see when the registration comes, will expire. But to register, this is where you go. And I think that's pretty fast too. The renewal is very fast. I think the registration can take a few days. It says in there how long it takes usually. And what you want to do is that you want to go in there, or whoever's doing this, designate what's called the e-business point of contact, electronic business point of contact. And that is the person, I think you can have an alternate, who can authorize the submission of applications. In other words, the e-business point of contact, sometimes it's the same one that submits it, but that is the entity or the person that has to go in and grant somebody the permission. Don't forget to do this, because this happens a lot too. So they've designated somebody who's going to, you've got an e-business point of contact. Then you're going to create, I know it's a lot of steps, that's why I'm saying you can do this all now. You can do this all now, way before you've written the narrative and everything. Create a profile, go in there. The address that you give grants.gov is the address to which grants.gov will send all of the correspondence. What we've had over the years is the e-business point of contact, not the e-business point, the email address wasn't, I was going to say manned, personed. Nobody was watching that email address. So grants.gov wrote back and said, well, your application didn't get through, it's this or there's a problem. Nobody knew. They figured, oh, we sent it in, it was okay. No. Make sure that the address that you're giving grants.gov is the address that somebody will check often. Maybe not every minute, but often, daily, after you submit your applications. So you can see, because there's a lot of steps. To create this username and password, you'll have to do secret questions and answers. Then that e-business point of contact we talked about in the previous slide. Ooh, I went backwards. Again, that e-business point of contact. They are then notified that somebody's that gone in and there is a username and password created. Okay, step 4. Then the e-business point of contact, such an odd acronym, isn't it? Must log in to grants.gov and designate the AOR. Oh, AOR, POC, it's worse than HUD. The authorized, I don't even know what it stands for, authorized representative. That is the person that's going to submit the application, going to hit the button. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it's the same person. Sometimes it can be. And again, this is where the e-business point of contact can see when SAM's going to expire. But there's other ways to do it. You don't have to wait for this to do. Then whoever's the AOR, whoever's been designated as the person that can click the button and send the application in, will get an email. It says everything's fine, you're in, you're registered, you're the AOR, and you can go and check your status. So there's a lot of ways now, I think, more than there used to be, to check where you are and what your status is. A lot of stuff, a lot of steps. You as the AOR, if you want to be the entity, or I keep saying the entity, if you want to be the person, individual that's going to be the submitter of the application, you can remind, and you should remind, the e-business point of contact to go in there and do that for you, because sometimes that doesn't happen either. I've heard a lot of stories, again, and I always feel terrible because you've gone through all this work and then you're trying to do this at the last minute. Do it today. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind not staying here till 5 o'clock. Feel free to get up and get something to eat or drink if you need to. Oops. So how do you get this application? Well, you have to go to grants.gov. And I've heard, we can't find it. Well, I like to go and browse by agency. That's what I do, because HUD doesn't have too many NOFAs out yet. So I just go in, I go to HUD, and then there we are. I think we're number 2 on the list, ICDBG. But that is the Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance number if you want to search by that way, or you can search by the number of the actual NOFA itself. It's on the front of the NOFA, FR, Federal Register 5900. All the ones this year will be 5900 and 02. We are the second one out of the box. First was the general section, then was the mold NOFA. So you go in there and you search. You see. You also are going to have to make sure, I'm not sure if it's at this very moment, but at some point soon, you want to make sure that your Adobe Reader, the system you have on your computer, is compatible with the version that grants.gov uses. Now, I know mine at HUD is, because I was able to download everything really fast, but you can go in there and there's a way to check. You can also get any version or a version that is going to work right there on that link on the screen. Again, you can do all this now. And again, if I had a screenshot, I would show you what it is. But when you go in, there's a couple of different ways to get to the application. But when you go to the application, you don't just download the grants.gov application, because if you download the grants.gov application, not the grants.gov, the ICDBG mold application, all you will get is, again, I'm sorry, maybe the crew can hold this up. It is called the grant application package. It tells you the CDBG, number, mold, Roberta Humans is here. It has the standard form, the 424. It's an OMB form that every person that applies has to submit. It has that there. It has a couple of other forms on the back. It also has, on the very last page of what's called the grant application package, it has the fax transmission form. A lot of times people don't know where that form is, but this is where it is. This is the form. If you download, let's say I went and downloaded it today, earlier this morning. If I download this application and I'm going to send it in based on what I downloaded today, I have to use the fax number and the fax form that was with this application, with this thing I downloaded today, because it has a matching number. Some of you have applied electronically in the past and have lost, fax forms get lost. I mean, the attachments get lost if they're faxed. Make sure that this is the form you use, and if you download the application more than once, you use everything that's in the same package for the whole submission. So, okay, that's the grant application package. You are also going to, when you go into grants.gov and go to the ICDBG application, you want to download what's called the application instructions, because there, in a zip drive, is going to be everything you need, I think. Yes. It will have, as I mentioned, maybe I didn't, the general section is there. The cost summary is there. That's a budget form you'll have to use later. Your needs table that we will refer to later in Rating Factor 2 is there. Anything that you're going to have to submit to show that you're working with the Promise Zone or a sustainability community, that is there. Your implementation schedule is there. The mold NOFA is there. Everything is in there. It is in a zip file, so it should all be there. We checked it. It should all be there. The current forms are there. Sorry, I'm waving it around. I don't know if you can see it, but so you want to download not only the application, but the instructions. So that's that. If you have problems when you are trying to either download it now or during the submission deadline last week, not the last day, please, not the last day. Anything that has to do with grants.gov, you need to call them. They're staffed 24 hours a day. Call them first. Write to them. There's a lot of ways to contact them. call them first. If by some chance it's the middle of the night, well, I don't usually work in the middle of the night, except maybe the last night. If it's in the middle of the night, or whatever reason you can't get through, they're not answering, they don't know the answer, you can feel free to call me. My number is on the front of that download. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. But my email address is there, and I'm always checking that. So you will see that there. But again, you should try to call grants.gov first. They should know about all these electronic submissions, Adobe, what doesn't work, what doesn't happen. So what time is the application due? It is due 1 minute before midnight on the application due date. Not 2 minutes later, not 5 minutes later, not an hour later. Don't assume it's just going to go through all at once. It takes a while to go through sometimes, especially if you're, well, not too many people are on dial-up, but some are. So you don't, again, we had some applicants not get through or get through a few minutes later. Doesn't work. There's a couple of exceptions to that, which we'll talk about. So then you'll get a confirmation that your application was submitted. Then you'll get another email that it was validated. It has to go through, you know, you got a DUNS, you got the SAM registrations up to date, you got this, you got that. It'll be validated. You will get another email. And where will that email go? The email will go to that email address that is being monitored on a regular basis. Not when somebody's on vacation, it is being monitored all the time. So you don't want to miss this, because if you get a rejection notice, let's say you submitted, I forget what day June 22nd is that a Thursday? Let's say you submitted a Thursday at noon. Well, let's say Thursday at 8 a.m. You submit Thursday at 8 a.m. and then you, by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you get a, probably not that fast, but you get a rejection notification. You have 1 day grace period. If you've submitted before that deadline of June 22nd, and you got through and it got in and it's submitted, and then you get a rejection, you have until 1 day after June 22nd at midnight, or 1 minute before midnight, to submit the corrected version. What did I say? Monitor that email. People lose out because nobody watched the email, or the AOR was the wrong person, or they forgot, you know. So, I mean, I say that again and again, but that's because I get the calls and I feel so bad for the applicants that try to get through and don't get through, and for whatever reason. So make sure you're watching that email address. You have 1 day to submit everything. If you have a record, save every single email you get from grants.gov. Put it somewhere, special file, secret file, because you might need that later. So please, save it. Here's the grace period we talked about. Again, you're not going to get a grace period if the application got in at 7 minutes after the deadline. Nope. You have to have that record that it was submitted, received. It doesn't have to be validated, because if there's something wrong with the DUNS number or the SAM, then that's what you have to check in your validation. I mean, in your grace period time frame. So, again, watch that email address. Don't assume everything is okay once you hit the send button, or whoever is the designated person to send it, the AOR. A lot of people do that. They say, oh my God, just like I'll feel when this webcast is over. Oh my God, it's over. I can go home. I can, go, whatever. Go to the gym. I can do it. Nope. You want to go in. You want to save all those emails, right? But you also can go in. I think this is a relatively new thing. You can go in. You used to be able to just go in and see it was submitted, but now, you can go in and see what you submitted. You can't just see it. We had one applicant last year who watched it go through. Everything was fine, thought it was fine, thought we were done, and then got a letter that said, we didn't get your application. They said, what do you mean we didn't get our application? Now you will be able to go and check my application status, and you can review all the documents that were there, that were transmitted. You can download them. You can look at them. If you then see, again, hopefully this is a couple days before the deadline, you can see that, oh my God, I forgot to include the budget. Oh my God, I forgot to include, the narrative isn't there. You can then submit, you could submit just that, or you could submit the whole application. Again, it sometimes either or, but you should probably submit the whole thing again. But you know what I'm going to say. Why are people rejected? Well, for one of the reasons they thought that the stuff went through and didn't, but now you're going to be able to check that. What's another reason you're rejected? Dunn's number doesn't match. Oops, dyslexic with the numbers didn't match. Passwords don't match. There's a lot of passwords. This one has a password, that has a password. Again, the person's not authorized, that AOR not authorized to submit. Or there's a virus, the software stuff doesn't match. Or the SAM registration's not current. Again, that, I hope most people know that that's a big problem now, and please make sure it's up to date. We talked a little bit about the waivers before. Again, the waivers are coming through to Glenda N. Green at HUD.gov. Most of the waivers that we've seen over time, we used to approve them, then the area ONAPs approved them, now we're going to approve them for the mold NOFA, is because of lack of reliable internet. And we do actually specify that in the NOFA now. We say this is an example of good cause. You can't just say, I want to do an electronic application because I don't have time to do all the registration. No. Time to do registration doesn't do it. Lack of reliable internet will do it, and that will be a good reason. It's got to have cause. We would like the waiver applications to be submitted. It says in the general section 15 days. I think 1 year we said in the NOFA 7 days. Do your best to get them in 15 days ahead of time. If you think you might have problems with the electronic submission, don't wait. Submit it now. You could submit it tomorrow if you want. Because it'll take us a little bit of time to approve it. But and you don't have to submit a letter. You can just submit an email. I need a waiver. This is the reason I need a waiver to submit the application for the mold. Spell it all out. What's the problem? Okay. It is about 3 o'clock. That's how you apply. Hopefully, I've answered more questions, or I've addressed more things than we have in the past with the NOFAs, but these are things that I've learned are problematic over time, but from talking to applicants and the grants office too, who talks to applicants. Again, look at that stuff now. Somebody in your office, if you have a couple people in your offices, can look at that part. And hopefully, if you have consultants, they've already read all that stuff. So what do you submit? We talked about before, there are 5 rating factors. These are in our regulation. They're kind of the same in all NOFAs, 5 rating factors. That hasn't changed. Some of the sub-factors might have changed, and we'll talk about those. There is a list in the NOFA on page, it's in section 4. Section 4 always has a list of what should be submitted. It's on the NOFA on it starts on page 8. And it has several things listed in here. Not all of them will apply to every single project, but most of them will for this mold project. And I'm going to summarize them right now. But again, you can compare what you're submitting with your application with what's in this NOFA. So make sure you have them all. What's that form? I told you everybody that applies for government funds has to submit the SF424, that HUD disclosure form, that do your best to fill out, is attached to the SF424. There is a cost summary. Again, this is a budget form. It has breakdowns for planning and administration, which can't exceed more than 20% of the grant. And that's all spelled out. Some of that's spelled out on the form. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Again, use the current form that is on the grants.gov webpage that you will have downloaded with your instructions in that zip file. You'll see it there. It's a new form. It should be fillable. savable and fillable. We used to reference OMB circulars throughout this webcast and in our other documents. Now there are, as I mentioned, new regulations that, again, we'll be training on, but just so you know, don't refer back to those OMB circulars. There are new regulations. They're spelled out in the NOFA. Did I say this already? Oh yeah, back to this. The first bullet is important. Sometimes we see applicants send in all the forms, but they forget to send the narrative. The narrative is very important because that's where we get the information about your project. Because the budget doesn't tell us everything, the implementation plan doesn't tell us everything. There are 5 rating factors which we'll discuss. All of them need to be addressed. Don't just address rating factor 1 and 2. Don't address just 3. Every single one of them has to be addressed. And at one point, we used to have a page limitation or a suggested page limitation on there of 15 pages, I think it was. We don't have that anymore because we weren't enforcing it. We don't want 200 pages. You should be able to explain your NOFA in less than 200 pages, or your project or your program. So do your best to answer the questions. You need to just look at the NOFA, answer the questions in there. There's not questions, but it says to get this many points, we'll talk about it, is in there. So that the narrative, I wanted to just reaffirm that you needed to say that. The cost summary. The cost summary is a general form. We ask that you not just rely on the cost summary. In other words, don't just say, you'll see in rating factor 3, there's certain points assigned to your budget, how detailed it is, have you thought everything out. Don't just assume just because you sent in the budget form, this cost summary form, 4123, that that's enough. Give us a little bit more information than that so we really know that you can meet the criteria of the NOFA and have everything spelled out in there. One of the most controversial, or I get a lot of questions on this first bullet. This first bullet is, it is a regulatory requirement that if you get CDBG money, and now ICDBG money, you have to consult with the residents of your community before you submit an application. This doesn't mean that a housing authority goes to a council meeting and says, hi, we're going to apply for money for mold because, well, in this case, it might be because it's for mold, but let's say it was an ICDBG grant. We want to do a housing for mold. Well, wait. It says well, I'm getting ahead of myself because there'll be another NOFA. In this case, you can say there's money available for mold. You would have a meeting, council meeting, or you could do it by newspaper ad, or you could do it, whatever works. Every tribal community is going to have its own way of getting the community involved, and I'm not going to presume to know what that is or how that works. But I know in cities they'd have a town meeting and they do newspapers, because I worked on that before in Maine a little bit. But I know that in tribal communities it's different. However you want to do it, but you want to make sure that there's some kind of documentation that you have had your citizens involved in this, because you need to submit a tribal resolution that says your citizens were involved in it. And it says in the NOFA, it specifically says you have to show, or the resolution has to state that you've consulted, it doesn't say consult, that you've involved the community. I will tell you exactly what it says. Evidence in the form of a tribal resolution that the tribe has met the citizen participation requirements of the regulation, which is 1003.604, and that you've ensured that the views were considered and taken into account. I paraphrased the last. Don't submit a resolution for a different kind of application. Don't submit a resolution for a mold application from last year. Each NOFA needs its own tribal resolution. I know that sounds like a little bit of a burdensome thing, but it really goes with this pot of money. The tribe wants this pot of money to be used for this. So please make sure that happens. We talk about low and moderate income because we want to know who you're going to serve. And as I mentioned earlier, we talked about the criteria. So you have to say in there who you're going to serve in your application. We're talking a little bit about the kind of facilities, kind of units that you'd be remediating mold on. If you're going to do a couple of single-family structures, everybody that lives there, has to be unit. If you're doing, not too many of you, maybe have duplexes. One unit has to be low and moderate income. If you're doing 3 or more in a building, again, it may or may not apply too much in your regions, but if it does, at least 50% of the units have to be low or moderate income. But everybody that gets ICDBG, in other words, every unit that has ICDBG in it, that unit has to be occupied by a low and moderate income family. So that's a little bit tricky. It's not the exact same as some of the other federal programs, but that's how ICDBG works. Again, we talked a little bit about if you don't like the data that's on that HUD user website about what income is what and where, you can submit your own that meets those criteria. It almost is the exact same as the other slide, but I wanted to reaffirm it here. Again, refer to that CDBG notice that I mentioned before. As I mentioned earlier too, if your code of conduct is not on the HUD website, and that website, I believe, is listed in the NOFA also. I can't find it right now, but I believe that it's listed there if it's not there. The lobbying form, only certain applicants have to do. The fax form, I should say, there was an application at one point, a proposal this year to do away with the fax form and do everything by email. But some of the, we polled all of the ONAP offices, and at least one of the offices said, no, we really probably need to still have the fax form. So the fax form is still optional. In other words, if you can't, again, without having done this before, if you are applying electronically, there's a way to attach documents. So you could attach your narrative, you would attach your form, you would attach this. But if for some reason you can't, you have too many attachments and they don't all fit, there's a limit, I think 15, how many you can attach. Not everybody attaches other things, but if you need to, you can either fax them now using that form that I mentioned was on the back of the SF42 form, not the back, the last page. My printer prints 2 sides. Or if you go to the general section, you will see that you can now email additional information. Not after the deadline date, but if you forgot something, you can email it to applicationsupport@hud.gov. This is explicitly explained in the general section on pages 14 to 16. It talks about what you can email when. So, not everybody will need to do that, but if you decide you forgot to send something, you need to send an extra something, it's there. And then one of the things we are asking you for, you'll see when we get to the rating factors, is we are asking you for evidence of mold. So that's in the checklist that I mentioned was in the NOFA. Remember I said in section 4 we list all the documents. I believe the evidence of mold in the units must be included. It doesn't say where it has to be included. Most likely it will be in rating factor 2 because that's where we talk about need, but it needs to be, and sometimes it'll be in 2 places. It'll be in this rating factor on need, but it'll also be in, I don't know, a report that you had somebody do. You can send that. But be mindful that if you are sending huge attachments, it's sometimes good to break them into smaller attachments, but that's that. I'm going to take another drink of water. I would just as soon not go to 5 o'clock. So let's go to the rating factors. Again, there's 4 of them. They are listed on the screen. These have been in our NOFAs for years. They were even in a think most of them were in the ARA NOFA, the Recovery Act NOFAs, and we might have changed it a little bit, but they are essentially what the ICDBG NOFA has had for years. And we sometimes give more points to some than we do to others. It depends on what's happening at HUD at the time and in Indian country at the time. So they've changed a little bit, not the titles of them, but the point structure. There is in the NOFA itself, as there has been in many years past, for those of you that have applied in the past, there is a chart that explains in one place where what the points are. I'm holding it up. It's on page 12 to 13 of the NOFA, and it's again it's in section 5 of the NOFA now, 5A. I guess it's, the table's in 5A1. Oh, well, anyway, you'll see it there. And we also have 2 columns here, one for what the score is for new applicants. Remember we talked about who's new versus who's a current applicant, who's got their units, grants closed versus new. So we have a score for current applicants in one column and then new applicants in the other. So make sure when you're writing your NOFA, your application, you know if you're new or current. And that way you know how many points you're going to have to get, because this program is not surprisingly very competitive, so you want to try to get the most points that you can in every one. So there's a maximum of 100 points in these NOFAs, in the NOFAs in years past, and in this one. You have to get at least 70 to be funded. Now, many of you know who have had applications funded in recent years that the scores are much higher than that. You all have been getting much better with your applications. Sometimes the cutoff is 85. Sometimes it's 90. Nah, not usually 90, but it's usually way above 70. You must get 15 points in rating factor 1. Rating factor 1 is an important one. It is on the capacity to administer the grant and get the work done. We don't want to give you a grant and then a couple years, 3, 4 years down the road say, oh, never mind. Didn't have the right people, couldn't do it. So that's why we won't even rate you on the other 4 factors if you don't get at least 15 in factor 1. And as I mentioned, the points vary based on if you're a new applicant or you're an old applicant. So I'm looking at my notes, and my notes don't match what that slide says. So so capacity. Capacity is, as I mentioned, out of 133 points. I think that's what it was last year too. If you are funded this year, we're going to look at what you said you were going to do this year if you apply next year. We're always going to look at past performance in these NOFAs if you're a current grantee. So if you didn't do what you said you were going to do or spend what you said you were going to spend, you will get fewer points in this NOFA, and we'll talk about that, because rating factor 1 is broken into everybody, current and new applicants, and then there's a sub-factor 2, which is on just past performance, which only the ones that have current grants are rated on. So here's the breakdown. Again, don't have to memorize these breakdowns. They are all in the NOFA in the chart. We want to know that you have or can get managerial, technical, administrative capacity to carry out the proposed project. We don't want to, for a mold grant, see that you have somebody that's really good at developing water lines, or that's really good at, putting up daycare centers or something, or Head Start centers. We want to know that the entities you have, we don't need to know every single person that's going to ever work on the project, but we want to know the key staff, the key important staff, and what they've done, how recent it is, and does it match up with what you're proposing. And Yeah, here we go a little bit. So that's what the overall factor is. Then when you break it down into this particular subfactor 1A, current grantees get 7 points. That's the most they can get. And 8 new grantees could get 8. We give a little bit more points to new grantees because we really want to see. There's no magic to some of how those breakdowns are, but that's how they are now. We want to know what's the project director going to do, what the staff's going to do. Again, it's key staff. We don't need to know every single person. We don't need 10 people. I can't tell you how many we need. It'll depend on what your project is, but we want to know key staff. We want to know that their experience is relevant to the project, recent within the last 5 years, and that whoever you're bringing in or have already has been successful. They've developed. Again, they've remediated mold, or they've done major rehab, which included mold remediation, or they, again, you might not have exactly mold, but whatever you have that's relevant, we want to see it, and that will help with the points. But you'll see in the NOFA that 7 is the most you can get there, and I think I broke it down. Oh yeah, the other breakdown is if you don't have every single thing, then you would have, instead of 7 points for a current grantee, you could have maybe 4 points. And then there's always a 0 point. You didn't describe anybody and nobody has any experience or it wasn't successful. So it's really key that you look at the NOFA. You want to obviously get 7 points. And you want to show us that, you have the experience or can. So that's the first subfactor. Whoa, sorry. Subfactor B, we're going to look at, remember we talked about that implementation plan, that form 4125, the implementation schedule we call it too. We want it to be realistic, we want it to be detailed, we want it to be clear so that it's obvious to us that you've thought out the steps. You didn't just say, okay, getting grant, putting up new roofs, you got to spell, environmental, you spelled out, how to do this. You've done grants, or the people you're bringing on know how to do grants. Realistic. The NOFA says, and this was a little bit controversial, this is a new provision we added into the NOFA last year, says, we used to just say, your implementation plan is realistic. Now we want to know that you can, not you, the applicant, your team can, the NOFA says that contracts can and will be awarded within 180 days from the date the funds are available to the applicant. To get the most points, and again, in this case, if you're a current grantee, the most points would be 3. If you're a new applicant, the most points for this subfactor 1B, would be 8. We are not going to, that doesn't mean that every single contract that you are going to let on this entire project has got to be let. In other words, not let, in a signed, sealed, and delivered. We want to basically see that the NOFA, the slide says full points, the project can start within 180 days. If you actually look at the NOFA says, oh, that's the wrong NOFA. So many NOFAs, so little time. The NOFA, it says that you can, it has that language about the contracts. That I think was a little confusing to people. Your application must demonstrate that contracts can and will be awarded within 180 days from the date the funds are available to the applicant. That means in your LOCKSS account. For those of you that know, LOCKSS account is where you get the money from these grants. We're not going to be holding you to that exact every single contract. We want to see that you are going to be underway within 180 days. That's 6 months. That's the same period we give you on the leverage side, which we'll talk about. So again, not every contract for every single aspect, not every job, not every home unit, not every we want to see that you can make good progress on starting within 180 days. The breakdowns are for current grantees, 3 points, 2 points, and then 0, or 8 points, 5 points, and 0. So We want to look at how realistic it is, and we also want to look at how soon you can start. Okay, then we go to financial management. Again, there's a breakdown for current and new grantees. Used to say Part 85, 24 CFR 85, but now we have new regulations. They're there, and there'll be new HUD regulations also. We'll train you on those. Just use the citations that are in the NOFA when you're describing this. We also want to look at, this is both. This is current grantees and new grantees, the definition. Do you have any open findings? Are they significant? Are they serious? There are new regulations. It used to be that applicants that weren't required to have audits, you wouldn't have been required to have an audit if you had less than $500,000 in federal expenditures. Well, that has been increased in these new OMB rules to $750,000. So if you don't have any more money than that, then you don't have to have an audit, and so you could explain that, or you'll have to state that in here. That's all spelled out in here. Again, reference the new regulations, make sure that your applications that your financial, demonstrate that you're going to be able to meet these requirements, that you know how to manage federal money. That's what we want to see, and we don't, to get more points, you don't want to have any open findings. Similarly, in the next sub-factor, which is on procurement and contract management, again, 2 points for current grantees, 7 for new. How do your policies and procedures meet the regulatory requirements, that should say? And again, we're going to look at serious and significant findings here. Have you addressed them? If not, how much time do you have? It's all spelled out in there. And if you don't have the audit, you can have a letter from your independent public accountant there. And the breakdown here is for current grantees 2, 1, and 0. The most you could get here if you're a current grantee, that if you're doing the best thing in this subfactor, is 2 points. 7 if you're new, or 7, 4, or 0. And some people get 0. You don't want to ever get 0. So, I don't know why. Did I have 2 slides on that? Yeah. Okay, then we're going to look at past performance. We'll look 19 points out of 100. We're serious about making sure that you use the money that you said and did what you said you were going to do in your past performance. So only current grantees are going to be rated here. Did you implement the project as fast as you said you could? Did you spend the money as fast as you thought you could, and maybe didn't say, but spent? The NOFA is pretty specific on that. This expenditure aspect is relatively new. I think the first time we had it in the NOFA was in 14. We used to just ask you about your expenditures here, but now here's what we're going to do. As I mentioned, well, I didn't, but 7 points. Again, this is all for current grantees. You will get the maximum points, 7 points for this in this subfactor, if you have met the time frames and if you've met the time frames in all of your implementation plans, because this is all open grants, met all your performance goals in the reports that you have to do, which we'll talk about later, and have no more than 35% of the total funds that you've received for ICDBG in your LOCKS account. So, no more than 35% of all the funds you've received for ICDBG in the grants that you still have open. But what we decided to do here, because a lot of times, I want to see where this says this. Because a lot of times the awards are given out so late in the year, we are not going to count the year right before this one. So in other words, you're applying for a 15 grant, but you just got a 14 grant, and which, by the way, you can apply for a 15 grant, even if you got a 14 grant for mold, remediation or ICDBG. We'll talk about that a little bit later. You we're not going to count the grants, the money that you got in 14 in that calculation, because it's really, we've decided, not fair, because for one reason, there was a new lock system, so some people couldn't get registered in locks the way we thought everybody could, and also just other things. So the NOFA actually says on the top of 16, but for grants funded in the year prior to this application or this funding round. So again, you're applying for this year, you're not going to be penalized for not spending your 14 money fast. That 14 money doesn't go into the calculation. So when I say calculation here, the most you can get is 7 points for this subfactor in implementation in A. Subfactor 2A, yeah. You could also get 5 points if you have met the timeframes and the majority of the goals and have a balance of no more than 50% of the monies that you have in total, but for the 14 grants, right? You could get, where am I? There's a lot of numbers in here. You could get 3 points if you've met the timeframes, but only some of the goals of your previous grants, and you have a balance of no more than 70%. It's a lot. And guess what? You can get 0 if you haven't met any timeframes of previous grants, you haven't met any goals, and you have a remaining balance of 70%. It should be or over. So again, as I mentioned early on, we're going to be looking, and probably more so in years to come, in past performance, in spending, in what you said you were going to do. Did you do it? We want to really make sure, because these funds are not, unlimited. So that's a lot on that, but I wanted to let you know that we did change that to not count the 14 funds, The other thing we want to do for past performance is we want to look. It's a little minor thing, but it's important. Did you submit the reports you said you were going to do? Did you submit your annual status and evaluation report, or ACER for short? Those of you know what that is. Did you submit it 45 days after the end of the fiscal year for all the grants that you have? Or was it a little bit late? Or was it neither of them were on time? Oh no, it's your ACER report as well as your federal financial report. That's the SF425. So we're going to look at both of those major reports for us, the ACER and the financial report. Did you submit them within 15 days of the due date? Both of them? You get 3 points. If only one of them was submitted on time, 2 points. None? 0. So again, all the more reason to make sure your reports are submitted on time. Then we're going to also look at your closeouts. Did you submit the documents that you're required to, that we tell you you need to? Is there a closeout agreement? Did you do all that on time? If you did, all the past grants, then 3 points. If you didn't, 0. Audits, we're going to look at past performance too. Did you submit the last 2 audits in accordance with the requirements, the OMB requirements and the new HUD requirements? Or if you got an extension, did you submit them by then? And if you didn't, if you're not required to submit an audit, remember I told you that amount increased to 750, the cutoff, you have to say this to get the points. In other words, we can't always know that, so you must say that. Then we're also going to look a little bit similar to what we did in rating factor, the other rating factor. We're going to look at the findings of your current grants. If you've resolved them all of your monitoring and control audit findings by the target date, or there were no findings, you get 3 points. But if you haven't resolved them by the target date, 0. So, as I mentioned earlier, when we funded MOLD applications in 2014, we did not include a subfactor for unfunded applicants. That was because it was a new program at the time. In 14, it was the first time we had the set-aside monies for that. So we didn't have that in 14, but we are going to have that in this MOLD NOFA. So you'll see here we've broken it down. If you did not receive either a MOLD grant or a regular ICDBG grant in the 14 competition, you will get 3 points. If you didn't receive a mold one, you'll receive 2 points. I can't quite explain exactly why we did it that way because frankly I can't remember, but that's how it is. So you'll know if you did or you didn't. So again, one of the reasons we wanted to do this in general was we wanted to help spread the money around to applicants that hadn't received applications in the past. So this was a way to get at that, and I think it's helped. So you'll know that. So that's rating factor 1, a big factor. Are you going to be able to do what you said you were going to do? Now, I know most of you have signed in to this webcast because you want to know what we're going to say about rating factor 2. There are 2 sub-factors in rating factor 2. This is a factor we've had in all of our NOFAs. We always want to make sure that the ICDBG is going to the areas with the greatest need. And so it's a competitive thing. There's a total of 14 points here. Your evidence of mold can be up to 8 points, and the project benefit is up to 9 points. So we did not change the language very much, if at all, in how we're going to measure how much mold you have or what the evidence of mold is. The NOFA, we were trying to get this NOFA out really fast. We did our best, but anyway, to receive the maximum points in scoring, and we'll talk about what those are, you must provide, the NOFA says that you must provide third-party evidence of mold. Now, I've received several questions about that since the NOFA came out. We still want to see, ideally we want to see as much detail as we can about the mold that you're going to remediate. The NOFA, the person that provides the estimate must be qualified to make the determination. I can't make the determination. I've read a lot about mold, but I would not want to go in there and say, I mean, I could see it maybe, but I don't know if that's really bad enough or something enough, or it could be what. You want to make sure that the person that is submitting, or the person who's prepared the information for you, doesn't have to be the person submitting it itself, has to be qualified to make the determination. Could it be the Housing Authority Director? No. Could it be somebody who's been trained in housing rehab assessment, mold remediation, air quality? Yes. Does the person have to be certified? No. The application does not define, the NOFA does not define certified. It doesn't say anything about certification. The application, the NOFA does not define the term qualified. You will see that we have given you a lot of links and information, etc., in the NOFA itself and in webcasts and in more webcasts about how to find people that are experts in this air quality, mold assessment, healthy homes, etc. We are not requiring certification. We would like it to be a person removed from the applicant. If somebody in the Housing Authority has taken a class and knows how to do it, we will look at that. There are other things in the NOFA in rating factor 2, rating factor 2, subfactor 1, that indicate other ways we can look at or determine if there is mold in your unit. You can submit photographs, preferably with identification so we know where the units are. Clear photographs, not hundreds of photographs. We did get some applications last time where it was like, you know, I had to go buy a couple of different boxes of paper. Not hundreds of photographs. You do not have to survey every single unit. We do not want you to do an air quality determination, or I forget what the exact terminology is in this NOFA. It says, it is not recommended that you conduct an air sample on the units due to the cost of such tests and the seasonal and daily variations of the results of such tests. So you don't have to get an air test. If you have happened to have air tests from previous studies or other, even long ago studies, well, no, that wouldn't be so good. You don't want to have it from 10 years ago for a unit that you haven't repaired. But you also can submit surveys from residents. You can submit reports from health entities, health organizations that says asthma's higher here. There's a lot of, due to the air quality in units, is submitted. If you were in those HUD and mold studies, I never remember to bring the list of all the tribes that were included in those studies several years ago. If you were included in one of those, there are a few studies of mold in tribal housing, and you still have problems in some of your units, have not been able to remediate them for whatever reason, please tell us about that. So that is what I wanted to say about third-party evidence of mold. We want to see that whoever did the assessment knows how to make the assessment. Qualified would be good. We want to see what their qualifications are. The NOFA then does say, here we talked about these, submit photographs, evidence. There are 100 points in this NOFA, in the maximum 100 points. This subfactor is 8. Do you want to get 8? Of course you want to get 8. If you can't get 8, you might be able to get 4, or sometimes you might have to get 0. But I wanted to point out that in this subfactor also, the points are broken down by, and here's what they say. I think I have it in the next slide. Yep. You will get 8 points if you can show us that there's mold in at least 50% of the units. Oh, I'm sorry, I left something out there. If you provided evidence of the presence of mold of more than 10 square feet in at least 50% of the units in the tribe's inventory, applicant's inventory. That's 8 points. Then if you want to get, for 4 points, you would have to show that you provided evidence of mold of more than 10 square feet in at least 30% of the tribe's inventory. And then if you can't, if it's only less than 30% of that amount, 10 square feet, you would get 0 points. I ask you to do your best with that, with the language that precedes it in that section. Some of you may or may not be able to get all the points here, but I ask you to do your best with the language that's in the NOFA now. It is posted, that's the rules we have now. So do your best, however you can do it. If you have specific questions, you can send them to me after the webcast. Probably I won't get back to you tonight. And we will post, as I mentioned, Q&As in the near future, resulting from, after the webcast and stuff we've heard. But so I know that that's a controversial thing, but I wanted to tell you that's what we're thinking now, and that's kind of where we're going. As I mentioned too, there are many resources for you to learn how to evaluate the mold, for you to find others that can help evaluate the mold. Last year we did a webcast, sort of like this, but it was more than me at the table. And we had Healthy Home staff there. We had Indian Health Service there. We had EPA was there. They do a lot of work on mold and air quality issues, as you know. They were on that webcast. That webcast is archived. It is archived at, where you found this one. What I wanted to say about the link above that bullet is there's about 10 reports, some from EPA, some from private sector, some from other federal agencies. There's a lot of information. There's even some information there that we produced ourselves in past years at ONAP about work addressing mold in tribal housing. So there's a lot of information there that will be helpful, I think, in putting your application together, as well as even beyond this particular funding opportunity. There's a lot of information there that I think will be helpful. That webcast, as I mentioned, of June 22nd is available. It's right there. You have to scroll down when you go to the webcast where today's webcast is. You just go down into the archives down to June. It's there. I think that one's in green. This one's in gray. IHS staff could help you. They probably can't do everything for you, but they will probably be able to help you, and then I've been told they could probably help you find appropriate help. They can provide technical assistance in helping you put the application together. IHS offices, just like ONAP offices and other federal offices around the region, have different staffing levels. Some can help more than others. You all probably have relations with your IHS offices in your regions. Some of them may have already reached out to you on this. Some EPA offices may have reached out to you on this. As I mentioned, EPA has a lot of information. They have an online course. They have webinars. Some of this is discussed also in that webcast from last year, but there's a lot of information out there, and I'll tell you a little bit more about some other information in a minute. Those of you that have applied for ICDBG applications in the past, I'm sorry, I think I've been looking at the wrong camera this whole time. We have what's called a rating factor 2 needs table, and we based the points that we calculate for this needs table based on information in the previous years, or in this case, the same years, Indian Housing Block Grant formula data. So we use the data from that's posted on HUD's webpage, and we run a formula based on a formula that's in our regulation to come up with oh no, the regulation isn't there. We came up with it ourselves, to calculate the points here. So you'll see the points here. I think in past years in ICDBG NOFAs, this section maybe was 12 points, the maximum. Because we put more points in need in the other section, subfactor, this is now 9 points. You'll see this needs table is also posted with the application instructions, as I mentioned earlier, on the HUD.grants.gov webpage. And a few of you have asked for information about the calculations, so you will see there is a link at the bottom of the needs table itself to find additional information about those calculations. So let me check where I am in my notes. Okay. All right. Did I jump ahead too fast? Yeah. Okay, rating factor 3. This has always been in the NOFA. We've always had in the first, you're talking about your capacity. The second, you're talking about need. And the third rating factor, we want to know, is your project going to really work? How are you going to do it? Why did you decide to do what you were going to do the way you said? Is it cost effective? Is the budget realistic? Et cetera, et cetera. And then is it going to be sustained over the long time? So you'll see the points there. We'll talk about them all in detail. Maybe I should have taken a break. Nah, I don't want to. Okay, subfactor 1 in this rating factor. That's SF, always means subfactor in my code. Subfactor 1 of this rating factor is the description of the project. And again, you could have up to 8 points here. You could have less points, and the NOFA, again, you'll see once you look at some of these NOFAs that they break it down. You meant this, 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 and this, you'll get 8 points. You've only done this and this, you get 4. You did only this, 2, and so that's how NOFAs go. And so specifically, it is broken down like that. We have 8 points, 6 points, 4 points, and 0 points, and you never want to get 0. So up to 8 points, you're going to describe your project. Is it feasible with the funds you've requested? Cost effective? Did you plan your project in detail? Did you anticipate roadblocks? The NOFA specifically says, we want to see that you've included detailed plans to implement long-term strategies to permanently remediate mold. We don't just want short-term interventions. We don't just want a paint job. We want to know how you've looked at the unit. You're going to, We want to know that you've got plans here to train the residents how to prevent the mold from coming back, and we also want to know how are you going to train your staff so they are really remediating it right, if indeed they are the ones doing the work. And there's reference to Section 3 in there, the Section 3 we talked about earlier. So we want to know, is it feasible, cost effective, is it in detail? Does it address the projects you said you had need for in rating factor 2? That doesn't always go, but it needs to go. You're going to look at where's the moisture coming from? Is it outside? Is it gutters? Is it leaks under the sink? Is it bad roof? What is it? So we want to know that and I know that sometimes you don't always know until you get inside the unit, but we want to know as much as you know now with what you know. So, okay, that's 8 points. Then we want to look at your budget. Remember I said the form itself, 4123, 4123, that form, the cost summary, that's not really enough. We want to see a little bit more detail than what's asked for on that form. So add that into your narrative. Again, all these things can be described in your narrative now in rating factor 3. We're going to look at the quality of your budget, the thoroughness, how reasonable it is. And we want to know all the costs. Don't just say, roofing material. I keep giving roofs, but, that's just what came out of my mouth. And we want to know who prepared the budget. We want to know that whoever prepared the budget knows how to prepare the budget for this kind of a thing. You don't want to have somebody that prepares budgets for, rodeo stadiums. I just made that up too. I don't know why. So again, you don't want to just rely on that form. You want to have people that know how to do the budget. We want to know what their qualifications are. HUD policy priorities has been a little bit controversial over time. These come from the general section. We're required to pick them. We've basically kept, or the ones that we think most closely apply to the type of funding source we have. And so in this case, we decided to pick 2 of them. The first one is, we picked it out of the general section choices. Promote economic development and economic resilience. Economic resilience is a word that is being used a lot now here, kind of sustainability, et cetera. So you can choose that one and show how your project's going to do that one and get 1 point, or you can choose the second bullet and do one of the 2 there. Each one of those would be 1 point, so you could get up to 2 points. If you do both of them, you could get 2 points, but 1 point each. We're not automatically going to be able to give you these points. You have to show us, how does this particular mold project help to create jobs, which is number 1, or how does this increase the energy efficiency or health and safety of homes? And much more detail on what those policies are. There's a little bit in our NOFA, but there's a lot more details on those policy priorities in the general section also. So I don't know, maybe number 2 fits with mold better. But anyway, it's up to you to decide, but you need to describe it in the application. Okay, so we got 3 rating factors so far. Oh, there's more detail here. So again, for economic development, the first priority, I would assume you'd be able to show that there's some jobs being created more than the last 2 bullets. And maybe green standards, I don't know. You have to decide. Okay, sub-factor 4, 2 more factors. You've showed us you can really got the staff, or can get the staff, you're really going to do the project. You can really do a good job. 2, you've showed us the need is great, you're going to address that need. 3, you're going to address those needs. 4, federal investment, how are you going to sustain the project? Who's going to maintain these units? Once you're finished, once your tribal inspector or whoever says the units are remediated now, the mold's gone, everybody's healthy, well, or getting, who's going to take care of the unit after that? This is something we've asked for in NOFAs for years. for all kinds of projects. We ask it for public facilities, we ask it for community buildings, we're certainly going to ask it for mold projects. Who's going to sustain the building? Are the tenants going to, if they're tenants, if they're rental units, are the tenants going to have to take classes? We really want the tenants to be trained in how to remediate the mold. Do you have funds reserved for it? If you have funds reserved for it, tell us you have funds reserved for it. If you have funds, are they really officially committed? The more detail you can describe in there, the better. And the NOFA specifically spells out what we're looking for in there. So again, the maximum you can get here is 12 points. If you do some of it, but not all of it, 8 points. A little less than ideal, you get 4 points. And then if you don't describe it at all, nobody's going to maintain it. You didn't say how, you just said, yeah, we'll maintain it. That's not going to cut it. We want to know who's going to do it. Is there money to do it? How is it going to get done? So we want to know that. So that's this last sub-factor of that third rating factor. Again, this is all spelled out in the chart. If you just look at the chart, make sure you address all of them. Then we go to leveraging. Remember I said earlier that there's no required match in this program. But we increased the match, the points for match here. We traditionally have had 8 points for leveraging, and we wanted to increase it to 10. So you will get up to 10 points if you bring, where's my score, it's on the next page. If you bring, you figure what the total project is, and if you're bringing 30% of the total project cost to the table, you're going to get 10 points. If you're only going to bring 4%, 0, and you'll see the score in between. And again, it's based on the total points. The NOFA, if it does it now, it used to have, no, it doesn't have a formula thing, but it's pretty self-evident by what that is. I want to just go back to make sure. Okay, yeah, non-funds. It can be ICDBG funds, it could be tribal funds, it can be other resources, it can be tax credits, it can be, you know, whatever is going to work for this particular kind of project, factor it in. But you can't just say it. You know, there's this section in the NOFA has stayed pretty much the same for years. We didn't want to mess with it. I think people are familiar with it. But for those of you that aren't, these are the kind of things you can include. This isn't an exhaustive list. Tribal trust or other funds, I don't know about loan guarantees, but loans. As I mentioned, IHBG funds, donated materials, you can count administrative costs. Again, this is just a sample list. We wouldn't permit indirect administrative costs to count. You're not going to, if you're going to maintain the units, we're not going to count that. That's not leverage, those are operating costs. But again, these are examples. We want to know, we want that in writing. Again, this is in the narrative in section 4. We want to know where the money's coming from and if there's a commitment. If it's in your IHP, it would be good to be in your IHP or in your next, you should amend the IHP to say you're going to use the monies for this. We want letters of commitment on letterhead from the people that are going to commit if they're going to do it. And while we don't say it, in this particular NOFA, it needs to be a written statement from the tribe that says that we, I'm sorry if I'm getting it a little mixed up. I'm writing the next NOFA now, so I can't always remember which is in what NOFA. To demonstrate the commitment of tribal resources, yeah, the application must contain a written statement that identifies and commits the tribal resource to the project, subject to the approval of ICDBG assistance. So we do want it in writing. Doesn't say resolution, but we want it in writing. Resolution's stronger, but it doesn't say resolution at the moment now, so it's a written thing. We also know that in some cases, you can't get your leverage within, well, it says in the NOFA that we want to see that the leveraging can be provided, but if you can't get it within 60 days, 180 days, should HUD not receive notification of a firm commitment or provide HUD with an amended application that meets this criteria within 6 months, HUD will recapture the funds. So make sure that you're pretty confident that you're going to be able to get the funds, because we have been known to take the funds back if you can't get the leverage. Because if you're getting funded based on the amount of leverage that you promised, you got more points here because you said you're bringing the money to the table. So we want to really see that you are going to bring that money to the table. So if you can't, we're going to ask that you either figure out a way to get the money or we'll take the money back. That's rating factor 4. Again, pretty much the same as it's been the same. We talk here about the 6 months. That's pretty much. All right, let me go past. Okay, factor 5. Again, this is the language from our regulation where it says what our factors have to be. I think the general section has a different rating factor. Up to 10 points here. There are 2 sub-factors here. We want to, again, this kind of goes with citizen participation. We want to know that this project, we've had some community meetings, we want to show that the community is involved in this project. If there's a plan, it's part of the plan. The NOFA spells that out in terms of, in sub-factor A. 1. You get up to 2 points. How did you coordinate this particular application with those that aren't providing your goals? And we've had people ask you, why are you asking us this? In other words, you don't want to talk about your leverage partners here necessarily because they're giving you money. Okay, what about those that aren't giving you money? Is there other people in the community that are helping you? Are they going to train the applicants? Are they going to, refer people to you that have asthma, or how's the community involved? It's 2 points. Do your best on that. Again, don't include the leverage partners there. Show us who else is involved. Then here a lot of discussion in late of what are the outputs. Those are like numbers. What have you done, and how has this impacted your community? What is the outcome? So for mold, and we list these types of outputs in the NOFA. It could be more. That's why we have an other there. You don't have to just pick these. But we want you in narrative and rating factor 5 to talk about, how many are you going to do? You can't just submit and say, we're going to fix the mold. We want to know how many units or how many homes, how many are you going to remediate. You can, we don't want you to necessarily double count, but if you're going to remediate them but educate the tenants, you could count that too in another bullet. Do your best. There's no form for this at the moment. We used to use what's called the logic model here, but we're not using that now. But you need to spell out in the narrative, give us what are the things that we can measure. We need to measure something, outputs. And then similarly, we want to know what's the outcome. Whereas output might be the number of units, the outcome would be, well, there's a lot of less substandard housing now, or there's a lot of fewer people that are going to the health service with asthma, or people are just they look better. That's a little too simplistic, but a reduction in health-related hazards. These can be your outcomes, but we want to see them because we're going to look at that. Those are the things you're going to have to report on when you submit your ACER reports, your annual status report, and we'll look at these things when we measure you if you apply in future years, past performance, right? So, it's 4 o'clock. Now, big push from people here at HUD to provide bonus points for applicants that are in promise zones, working with promise zone communities or sustainability communities. There are 2 tribal promise zones now. Choctaw in Oklahoma, Choctaw Nation, and then recently Pine Ridge in South Dakota has been designated a promise zone. Just a week or so ago, it's in the HUD press release of recent, I don't know the exact date. I don't know exactly how many sustainability communities there are in the country or how many tribal ones there are. But if you are located near one of them and are going to work with one of them on your mold project, maybe you will and maybe you won't. We will give bonus points for either if you submit certifications of consistency with either of these two. Both of those, the forms for both programs, Promise Zones and Sustainability Communities, are posted with the zip file that you can see when you download your application. The one for Sustainability Communities is called HUD 2995. The one for Promise Zones, has to be this one, is HUD 50153. So again, if you're working in those communities or with those communities or are in those communities, in the case of tribally designated communities, take a look at that, see if you can do that. We will not give the bonus points. In other words, we're going to rate everybody first and see, somebody that doesn't meet a minimum in factor 1 or of 70 points won't get a bonus point and get pushed over. You have to meet the minimum points to be funded in ICDBG before you would get any points on top of that. I don't think this will be used very often in this particular NOFA, but I don't know yet. So we will see what happens with that. Okay, so you've submitted your application, you've got it in by the deadline, you have the email correct, then you wait. What do we do then? Then we go into full gear. You're in gear now, we go into full gear then. We're going to make sure your application is reviewed by the deadline and meets the requirements, that you're eligible, the applicant's eligible, that the project is eligible, mold remediation is eligible. You have all the required components. We're going to look at your budget to make sure that most of the money is going to low and moderate income persons. That almost is not a problem, almost never. We're going to look at the thresholds. Remember, there's a program threshold. We're going to look at the requirement about in case of mold projects, we're going to look for the housing codes. We want to see that. We're going to look at the past performance. If I didn't make it clear before, you do not have to submit the information on past performance. A lot of times people do, but the NOFA specifically says, we will rely on information that's on file. You can, if you want to. But we'll know if you didn't submit your audit, and we'll know if you submitted your reports late. So I just wanted to point that out. I think I forgot to mention that before. We will rate it. Our thinking now is that we are going to rate them nationwide, in a rotating basis. These applications are not necessarily going to be rated by the area ONAP that you are working with. Like regular ICDBG units are, because applications are, because you may know that this Congress appropriated these funds for a national competition. So we are rating all applications against each other. We're not rating Alaska's against Alaska's, Southwest tribes against Southwest tribes. It is 12,400,000 nationwide. So we are going to be reviewing them nationwide. We will panel them nationwide and with staff here at headquarters. Again, we'll look at the minimum points. Nobody will get minimum point funded unless they meet that 70 points. I expect it will be higher than that. The NOFA explains kind of how the rating's going to be in general. Talks about if there's a tie, what we'll do, who would get funded over somebody else. That's all spelled out. That's basically the same as we've done NOFAs in the past, reviews. If we see something in your application is missing and it won't affect the rating, we will possibly ask you to submit it. We would send you a letter and say there's a technical correction. It won't affect the rating. please submit this within 14 days. If you don't send the information back, we will not give you the grant. We will give it to the next highest scoring applicant. If you decide that during the rating process that you don't want it, which usually never happens, we will obviously not give you the grant. We'll give it to the next person. But again, only applicants that would be rated high enough on the numerical scoring will be asked to submit these technical corrections. You forgot to sign something. It's not that you forgot to submit your narrative. That's not a technical correction. And sometimes we ask you before you submit, before we give you the contract, the grant agreement, that you need a few more things. As I mentioned earlier, we will do a delinquent federal debt check. We send that to our grants office, and working with them, we check to make sure there is no delinquent debt. We're going to check to make sure, well, there's a lot of checks at the end. But again, there are 14 days. If there's anything that we ask you for that's different than a technical correction, doesn't happen too much, but sometimes, as far as I know. Again, if you don't respond to pre-award requirements, or you don't respond in accordance with what's requested, won't get funded. This is a controversial area too. We get letters sometimes from people after the reviews are over, and people say, I should have gotten funded. This wasn't reviewed right. It wasn't fair. People were treated different. I answered the question, I this, I that. And I'm not minimizing it, because I know a lot of work goes into these applications. But I do know that the general section says this, and this has been the case for many, many, many years. Only if HUD makes a mistake will a grantee be funded, perhaps either that year or the subsequent years. Only if, for some chance, let's say we send you the letter of rejection and we also send you the rating sheet. You look at the points and you add them up and you say, hey, this should have been 85. You gave me 70, or whatever. I guess if you're 70, it wouldn't matter, because you still would get funded. But if you're under this, then we will do something about it. But if you just didn't like our decision for what the outcome was, that is not something, there is no appeal. You don't see the word appeal in here anywhere. There's no appeal. There have been cases where HUD has made a mistake. One time we reviewed the wrong year's application. That was a mistake. I can't remember. There's been a few rare instances where, for glitch or some kind of problems with the electronic applications, there was a HUD ONAP mistake. We admit our mistakes when they are our mistakes, and we will address those, and usually there's some kind of resolution. But again, we don't want to be having to respond to appeals. We want, of course nobody does, but we want to, we try, maybe unsuccessfully, to make things clear either in the webcast or in questions and answers or in our NOFA itself. But again, there's no appeals, only if there was an error on HUD's part. So, okay, you've submitted the application in June. You've submitted all your stuff, your pre-awards. We have to notify Congress. There is a new rule that only Congress gets to tell you. Congress gets to tell you before we tell you. It's kind of a new requirement. The embargo, the announcement until they tell you. We will do our best to collectively reviewing these applications to award the grants for the mold applications by the end of September. If we can, we'll do it before September. This will be in this fiscal year. We need to make some of them in this fiscal year. We will do our best. If you do not make it through screening, it's my understanding, before I tell you that, then we will, the area ONAP, or I forget how we're going to do this, but you will get a grant agreement. We ask you to return that relatively quickly. Because there's some new requirements in the OMB rules, you will probably have a special, all of you will have a special condition attached to the typical ICDBG grant agreement, which basically says you have to be in SAM, you have a DUNS number, there's a few other things. I think those of you that have gotten IHBG funds know that you've had to have that on that grant agreement. There's few new requirements. There'll be that. It's my understanding, and I will double check this too, that if you do not make it through your application for whatever reason, doesn't get through grants.gov by the deadline date or the grace period, that grants.gov will send to you, grants.gov or the grants office, somebody besides ONAP will send you a notification of that. I will check on that. I forgot to check on that before today, but it's my understanding that that has been addressed. I can't look it up right now, but we will confirm that. I'm going to write myself a note here because I know sometimes people get an announcement and they say, or they read the press release and they say, well, what happened? I didn't hear anything. Oh, before I tell you that, I'll tell you now. A few of you have written and asked where the Federal Register announcement of grant awards for 14 is. That is in the works. There's some new rules about who has to sign what here. It was a little bit of a delay on my part. Too many NOFAs. That is in the works. But meanwhile, before that is officially published, because we do have to publish that, that's a requirement, you can go to the HUD website. Many of you know this, and I've told the area ONAPs of this. You can go to the HUD website and look under press releases. If you look at the press release from, I believe it was October 6th, it was early October, there is a press release of the National ICDBG Awards, and there is a description and list of all the grantees from 2014. So until the Federal Register notice comes out, that formal requirement that we will do, you can go there and look at it. I can't remember if we posted it on Code Talk or not, but in the meantime, it is there. So I wanted to say that, because I don't think I have a slide on that. If you're funded, and we hope you'll be starting your grant pretty soon after you get the funding, you will have to comply with some reports. Again, those of you that have grants know about these. If you don't, get ready. There is a quarterly report that grantees of all federal funds have to submit. It's called the SF424. It's quite a detailed form, but you will have to submit that. You will have to do an annual report, which is at this point still a narrative report that says what you've done, how much you spent, what the problems are you addressing the goals, et cetera, and that's all spelled out. You get a reminder letter about that. You will have to submit how you've addressed minority business reports. That's a little bit of a form that we're not going to explain much here. And then you will have to submit at the end of your closeout period, if all the conditions of closeout have been met, you have to submit a closeout report. You have to do that relatively timely. We need to look at that a lot more closely now. And you also will have to sign a closeout agreement that spells out who's going to do what from now on once the grant is closed out. So you will have to do that. Be ready. If you have questions, I list all the area ONAPs on the subsequent pages. The area ONAP staff, most of them are watching this webcast also. They will not have their own training on the mold application, mold NOFA. You know how sometimes after I do the webcast, this long webcast, a few weeks later, the area ONAPs, the 6 area ONAPs usually have their own NOFA training where they supplement what I've given you out and talk about it in more detail and answer questions. They are not going to be doing one on the mold NOFA this year. Well, they didn't do one last year either on the mold part. But they're watching this. You can ask them questions. If they don't know the answer, they will ask me. You can ask me questions. I try to get back to you within the day or the next day, depending on how many I have. If you have any questions about submitting your application electronically, first try grants.gov. First try that support number there. First try those emails. I've had people call me again the day before and say, I can't get through, I can't get through. Sometimes I can intervene, not with them, but through our grant office. But again, it's really preferable that you try them. I'm sure all of you know who your area ONAP office is and how to reach them, but if you don't, I hope I have all the current numbers on here. 2 offices in the Southwest region. I'm sure you all know that. If you're in New Mexico, you know that the Albuquerque office is your office. We cannot help you write your application. That is a HUD Reform Act law that was passed, I think, in '88 in response to some terrible scandals about Friends getting grants. We cannot help you write your application. We can explain what the NOFA is looking for. We can explain what a regulation says. We cannot tell you how to put your NOFA application together. So please don't ask us to do that. Some of you have had debriefings on your applications from last year. I think it says in the NOFA, or if it doesn't, maybe it's in the general section, we can't give you a debriefing. Don't think we can give you a debriefing now about last year because the NOFA is on the street. So that's that. Watch the webcast. Again, if you need to, look at the program guidance that we posted about this NOFA, which is on the Code Talk page under program guidances. Again, we can explain in general what things mean and what terms mean, but we cannot help you put the package together. I wanted to add this. This has come to my attention in the last few days. There is going to be 2 webcasts, 2 webinars on mold remediation and putting proposals together for this NOFA, as well as any other proposals, any other application, any other funds. This is being sponsored, put together by the Institute for Tribal Environmental Professionals and the Tribal Healthy Homes Network. I have not seen any of the materials. It is not a HUD-sponsored event, but anybody around the country can sign up for it. I do not have the link because I didn't have a link. I have a brochure, but I think if you just go onto either of their websites, you will be able to find it. If I find a link in the next day or 2, I will see if we can get it posted or at least shared with the area offices so that they can share with you. It was kind of a juggling act. We kind of knew they were going to do it, but we didn't know what day. They didn't know when we were doing ours. They didn't know what the NOFA was going to say. If you have any, if there is any discrepancy about something that is in the materials put together in that webcast, I can only urge you to rely on the information that HUD provides, because this is I'm sure the training is going to be extremely helpful and useful, but I don't, because we have not coordinated, this is the official webcast on the NOFA. Like I said, we will publish questions and answers as soon as we can. Hopefully there won't be hundreds of them. We did not make too many changes from last year. We hope we use all the money this year. I urge people to apply. I urge people to send questions. I don't want to not have you submit questions. And like I said, I encourage you to watch the webcast from last year, the June, I think it's 27th. Certainly participate in this webcast on the screen now. I will be watching myself because I want to hear some things. I want to learn some things myself. But again, I wish everybody who is interested in this money well. Would that it were hundreds of millions of dollars, because I know there is a big need out there. Do your best with the application, read the NOFA, respond to everything in the NOFA as best as you can. We will do our best on our part to get the money out as soon as we can with fewer staff. And like I said, there will be a subsequent NOFA posted for any ICDBG eligible application, hopefully in June. What's today, May? Yeah, hopefully June. I can't give you an exact date, but we will let you all know about that. We will have another webcast about that. That's all I have to say. So I'm sorry there's no questions today. Send them in if you need to. And thank you very much for participating. And good luck to all of the applicants. Thank you.